Hey guys, how's it going? Today in this video I'm going to talk about the Litmus Portal, the various steps, how you can access it, the agents, the clusters, the features that are present in the portal, how you can schedule the workflow and also visualize the workflow. Apart from that, we are also going to see the targets, the user management from settings page, how you can log in as a new user or as a user with a different role. And also I'm gonna attach a timeline sheet right here so that you can, if you want to skip to a certain section or if you want information about one particular part of the video of the portal, you can jump right into that particular time. So let's just get started with it. So getting started with the portal is very easy. First thing you gotta do is open up this URL or just open up this repo Litmus. The URL is github.com/litmus/litmus. I'll be posting down the links in the description box as well. So what you got to do after visiting this URL, let's go to Litmus Portal, which is right in this repo. Open up the portal and scroll down. You would find the manifest that you need to apply. So there are two different manifests. One is for beta 0 and the other is for the master version. So in this video I'm going to apply the beta version manifest, the beta 0 manifest. What I'm going to do is copy this entire kubectl apply command, open up my terminal and basically apply this manifest. Before doing that, I'm just going to start up Minikube, and once it's configured I'm going to apply the beta manifest. What it will do, okay, so it's done. What it will do is let me just apply this first. So what it'll do is it'll run up the few pods that I needed, the frontend pod, the server pod, and also the MongoDB, and also get the services up and running. So we out of all the services we would need the frontend service in order to boot up the frontend and work with the portal. So I'm just gonna watch the pods that are getting created, and seems like they are up and running. Okay, I'm gonna close this one then, and I'm gonna get the services. And it looks like we have the services running as well. So out of the three services, one is the Mongo service, one is the server, and the other is the frontend. We would require the frontend server in order to boot up Litmus Portal. So it's a node port which is running on cluster IP this, and it has the port 9091, and this would obviously change every time. So what you can do is either apply the node IP with the port this one, and that should work. Also, if you want to configure Litmus Portal to use load balancer, then you can do kubectl patch, and then you can attach a type of load balancer in the spec, and that should also convert node port into a load balancer, and then you can use the same load balancer IP along with the 9091 port. But what I'm gonna do here is a little different. I'm gonna run this locally, so I would want to do a port forward for that 9091 node port. So I would do port forward, and I'm gonna port forward the Litmus frontend, Litmus Portal frontend service. I'm gonna put forward to, let's say, port 7000, and the node the port which I'm forwarding is 9091, and I'm gonna do it in the namespace of Litmus. So this should basically forward the port. Now the only thing I gotta do is, let's minimize this, go ahead and open a new tab and just go to localhost 7000, and this should boot up Litmus Portal. So that's as easy as it gets to just go ahead, apply the manifest, and open up portal. Now the thing is, when I log in first, I would be an admin. So an admin can have multiple privileges which a viewer or an editor might not have, depending on how much privilege the admin provides. So I would the first login would be by default admin, and the password would be Litmus. So let me log in into the portal. I would be presented with a welcome modal, in this modal I'm supposed to provide the project name, the username, the email ID, or the new password. If I'm supposed to change the default Litmus password to something else that it's only secure for the admin, I can do that in here. So for the project name I'm gonna say demo. Full name admin is okay. I'm gonna continue and I'm gonna give a new password, but just for demo's sake I'm just gonna keep it Litmus, and it's also Litmus, so I'm not changing my password. And this is the default email address, admin@kubera.com. I'm gonna just say let's start, and it's gonna register that in the backend, and I would be presented with a welcome screen. So right now this is my welcome screen, and by default I have the self cluster, and I don't have any other external cluster. So we are going to talk about clusters, but before that, right now I'm being presented with this screen. That's because I don't have any active workflows, or I have not scheduled any single workflow. Once I have scheduled at least one workflow, I would be presented with a different home screen, which would have details, sort of analytics about what I have run, and how many workflows I am running per week or per month, and I can filter and sort it as per my own wishes. So currently, like I said, you can see it's saying congratulations, you have established your first project. So this is being hosted on this is being applied on the self cluster. So the very top right corner, you can see that I am the admin, and I'm also the owner of this project, and the project that I'm currently have selected is demo. So what I can do is go to targets, and on targets I can see that my currently activated cluster is the self cluster, and its connection date is this date I connected, number of workflows is 0, and everything 0. So this is currently active. If I go to workflows, I should be able to see no records because I haven't run anything. So the main point here is currently I am running this on a self cluster. You can also use an external cluster. In order to do so, you would need to apply a different manifest, and the manifest would also be generated for you. So if I filter this according to the target cluster, it should be an internal one. If I filter it according to external, it should be empty because I don't have an external cluster right now. So what I can do is click on this thing, connect the target, and once I do it, I should be provided with this screen. Connecting a new target. Connect a new target to your device. You have to do the following. So you have to open a cluster console, copy the command, and paste it in a cluster console. So you have to basically copy this kubectl apply command. This is dynamic and would change based on whichever URL you are currently on, and this command would basically apply an external cluster, and then once you copy this and apply this on your cluster console, and you come back to this target screen, you should be able to see another external cluster. Right now it's pending because I haven't applied it, but if I filter it now based on external, I should be able to see only this one and not the self cluster. So once you apply this and you successfully do this, you should be able to see the state transition from pending to active, just like you have in the self cluster. So that's that. I'm not going to use this new target agent. I'm going to use the old one, the self cluster, and I'm going to schedule my very first workflow. So I'm going to go to home and click on this, schedule your first workflow. Once I do this, I will be provided with a screen to choose which active cluster I want to run my workflows on. Right now I have only one, so I'll be provided with only one. If the other one was also active and not pending, then it would also have been shown here. So I'm going to select self cluster, select and continue, and these are the list of predefined experiments that I have, and also there's an option to create your own. So these experiments are also present on Chaos Hub. So Chaos Hub is basically a hub of experiments. It has a list of 48 experiments, out of which you can use any. It has basically a list of workflows or just singular experiments as well, so you can go ahead and check it out. But basically the experiments that are here is also the same there. So pod delete, if I filter, if I just say pod delete, I should be presented with this pod delete. Yeah, the generic pod delete, and this is the same experiment there. So you can go ahead and explore more about Chaos Hub, but I'm going to come back to the Litmus portal, and I'm going to select pod delete. So once I do this, I can go ahead and edit the workflow name. I can choose any other workflow name if I want to, and edit the description if I want to. but I'm just going to keep it as it is. And this is the name of the workflow: Argo chaos pod delete and a random hash. So I'm going to click on next. I should be provided with a YAML. This is the default YAML of the experiment. I can tune it according to my wishes. I can add any spec or any external parameters if I want to, but I'm pretty happy with what it is. And in this editor you also get the option to undo, download, and copy, paste, all that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on next. In this particular reliability score step, you can adjust the weightage of the test that you are performing. So by default it's 10. You can of course modify it up and down. I'm pretty happy with 10. I'm gonna go ahead and next, and this is the part where you can either schedule a workflow currently right now. That means you can just straight away schedule now and it will start executing, or if you want a recurring schedule, you can set it up as per your wishes. So if you want it to happen every single hour or every single day, once, or maybe once a week, something like that, so you can do that. So if you want it every month, you can specify that which day at what time of the month you want this recurring schedule to happen. I'm just gonna go with schedule now and go next. So you'll be provided with a brief summary of the entire steps that you have followed. What have you selected? So this is the basically summary. So this is the workflow name, which was selected at the very beginning with a random hash. Then the cluster is self cluster, description deletes a pod, and it is scheduling now. And this is basically the weight that you selected. It's 10 by default. And you can also go ahead and view the YAML. If you want to change something, you can go back and change it anyway. Before I move forward and do here on the finish button and schedule this workflow now, I like to go ahead and do a watch cube cdl get pod command, get pods minus n litmus, and this is a list of everything that's working currently running. So we had Litmus frontend portal server and the MongoDB. The others that are running right now is the subscriber, the workflow controller, the Argo server, and the chaos operator. So chaos operator, these all things we require in order to schedule the workflow. So once the target is connected, we would see this 4 extra pods spawn up. Now let me go ahead and click on the finish, and once I do this, I should be able to see a new Argo chaos pod delete with a hash generated. Now if I go back, I should be able to see that this started 10 seconds ago, and this is the chaos experiment that is being running. So it's Argo chaos pod delete with the same hash. So now the pod is being initialized. I should be able to go ahead and click on show the workflow, and this will basically give us a very visual representation of the workflow that is running. Also, apart from this, we have an info section which we can toggle right here. So if I toggle it, I should be able to see that the workflow name, the state is running, what is the start time, and what is the namespace, what is the currently running node, and what has already been executed. So gray means it's pending, yellow means it is running, and green has been successfully executed. So it will also show you the current cluster which you're running the experiment on. If I want, I can go ahead and click on specific nodes to get node details. So let's say if I want to visit this install experiment, I click on it, and I should be able to see the node details. It's type pod, phase is succeeded, start time this, end time this, and duration, and all that. So I should be also able to visit nodes and get the individual node logs, but I'm going to stick to workflow, and we'll wait for this thing to finish. So we are going to come back to this after a while. Let this execute for the time being. So the other things is the schedules which would have been there. So currently it's the schedule now, so this is only a one-time schedule, that's why it's just showing up here. But if I had selected something like a monthly schedule or a weekly schedule, it would have been shown in the regularity. It's just once for them. For that matter, it would have been shown that this particular date or this particular time for every month, which month, which particular time or date for which week, and all that details. So if I go to templates now, these are the pre-selected templates which won't require me to do any sort of tuning. Everything is already done for me. So if I wanted to do, let's say, node memory hog or pod memory hog, I could have just easily clicked on them. They would show me the experiment details, the points, the weightage and everything is already pre-selected for me, and I just needed to go ahead and schedule this experiment. So once I do this, I would have to again go with these steps just for verification. Like you see, it's already pre-selected for me this time, pod memory hog, because I already selected it back from template. I can go ahead and do next. It will show me the YAML and the same steps basically. So I won't do that, I'll just go back. I don't need to. Now if I go to workflow and see if this is finished or not, and it's still running. Okay, proxy, yeah, it's still running. So the other part of this video is my hub. So what my hub is generally, it's just like your own personal chaos hub, where you can include your own chaos experiments and not select from a range of chaos experiments that are available in chaos hub. So you can go ahead and create your own actually my hub, where you can give your sort of chaos experiments. You can create a repo in GitHub, and then you can basically add the link to the repository, and you can either do login via access token or through SSH, and then you can use your own personal chaos experiments, and you would also get the option to basically tune your own experiments as per your wishes and apply them and see the analytics and the visual representation of the same. So if I go ahead and click on Chaos Hub, I would be able to see the experiments that are present in Chaos Hub. But if you had selected your own GitHub repository, it would be your GitHub repository / master. You could also select any other branch rather than master, but this is the master branch for Chaos Hub. These are the experiments that are present in the Chaos Hub repository. So if you had selected your own repo, this experiment details would have been pre-filled with the experiments that were present in your GitHub. So that's that. I can click and schedule any particular experiment that I like. So let's say I like this pod network loss. I can go ahead and schedule this. Let me go back to community. Now the community section is what is basically gives us the insights about how many experiments we have, how many experiments are currently being run, and how many operators are installed by everyone using Litmus. And it also shows you a graph, and you can go ahead and view the blogs that are being written about Litmus, how many people are using Litmus all over the world, all that sort of things. Another important thing that I want to mention is the invitation, the user management part. So currently you can see there are no users available, but let's say I want to either create a new user or invite an existing user to my project. I can do that. Currently I'm the owner of this project, so what I can do is I can create a new user. The new user's name, I would say new, let's say just say new user maybe. Email address is new@gmail.com, and the username is new user. So the new user's username would be new user, and the password I would also give as new user. So let me just go ahead and create this new user. So once this new user has been created, I can see that the new user has not signed in yet. So once this is basically a first time user, so when I log out and sign in with this new user, it would give me again that welcome modal, because for that user it's his first time, so they would be again presented with a modal to initialize their project. So I'm gonna log out, go to this username new user, and also the password is also a new user. I'm gonna log in, and I should be presented with the modal. Now the project name, I'm gonna say new project, just so you can differentiate with that one. Full name is new user, and the password I'm gonna say new user again. I'm not changing anything. New user, if you want, you can change it, new@gmail.com, which was pre-selected already in the settings by the admin. So now if I do let's start it, I should be able to see the user has switched. Now it's new user, and he's the owner of his project, and new project is his project name. So now this is a complete different portal for the new user. It's not the admin anymore. So now let me log out from here and go back to the admin console. Let me log in back. I shouldn't be provided with a modal because this is not my first time login. And also I see the home page has changed. That is because the workflow has successfully executed. So if I go back and click on show the workflow, I should see the list of everything that was previously executing and successfully executed. I can see the info, I can see state succeeded, when did it finish, what was the duration of the entire workflow, what are the executed nodes, and also if I click on one particular node, I should get details about the same. Okay, so now the homepage has also been changed. So this is showing me like analytics about what I run. Currently it's very bad because I ran only one experiment, but the more you run it, the more it should be filled up. Now if I go to settings and go to team, I should be able to invite a new member. So now I have the new user which I recently created. I can click on this and give him permissions. So I can either give him an editor or a viewer permissions. So if he's an editor, if he's a viewer, he won't be able to delete or create new workflows. He would only be able to view the selected view workflows or view whatever the others are doing. He can't basically create his own workflow or delete schedules or anything. If he's an editor, on the other hand, he can create or delete schedules and workflows. So I'm just gonna give him viewer access and I'm gonna send invite. So invitation has been successfully sent for new user to collaborate on this demo project. Now let me go back and log out and open the new user account again, and I should be able to see the view the invitation. So if I go to settings now and go to teams and I see invitations, click on invitations, I should see that this is the received invitation. So admin is requesting a viewer, inviting you to have a viewer access on the project demo. So I can either accept or ignore. I'll just accept it, and it has been accepted successfully. So now I can see there are two projects in my account basically. So I have the new project, which is my project, and I have the demo project in which I'm only a viewer and not a editor. So if I click on demo, I should be able to see that I have one workflow, and in the workflow screen I should be seeing the same workflow that admin executed, not new user. But if I switch to my new project, I should see that there are no records available. So that's how the team management or user management works. Yeah, and that's all the complicacy there is to the portal. It's very simple, honestly, and there's nothing too complicated about this. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching it.